Alright, so I'm just going to put it out this way. If you didn't like my last video, apologies. I understand I was a little misinformed, but at the same time, holy crap, did you guys not like me talking bad about Ear Edge. So, on that same note, moving forward, basically this week at Bungie, there's going to be a lot of talking. A lot of it I'm going to skip, just for the sake of keeping it shorter, just because of the fact that pretty much a lot of it is questions from the community, and as much as you might know the answer, if you want answers to a majority of these, I'd recommend you go and find them yourself. Now, they do address account bans going on, and basically they implemented something that was a new search field for banning folks when it came to cheating and stuff on their systems. But then at the same time, when they realized that there was some human error that added, the mistake was a result of human error, and they worked quickly to identify and rectify it, and they apologized for any anxiety and uncertainty it may have caused in case anyone was banned who did not actually cheat in any form. But of course, they do mention that appeals are there for a reason, and unbans began to occur within 24 hours of the first indication of a problem. Anyone who has appealed against their ban and subsequently been unbanned has received a direct response to their appeal indicating that reversal. And there are several ways of detecting cheating in Destiny 2, and those unbanned were those affected by the specific error mentioned above. If a player finds themselves banned in the future, they were detected by one of our other methods. So basically, the recent ban wave was because of an unintentional implement that Bungie has since repealed and is beginning the unban. So then, of course, there's a link here for unban appeals. Then in case you were banned and you actually didn't have that, this is how you go through that little link, and you can go through all of that to work on becoming unbanned. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. Now, there is going to be a lot of stuff going forward. Now, a lot of this is weapons detail. Like, this is from the weapons team and all that. So there's some things that are going into aspect like full auto trigger system. When that gets replaced and things have full auto intrinsically, things like Traveler's Chosen that had full auto trigger system will get surplus in the Catalyst instead. Vigilant Swing will earn Ensemble instead of full auto. No Time to Explain will earn Fitting Frenzy instead of that. And other things like that. Now, this is probably something you already heard about, but they're planning on next season and nerfing Divinity. Now, basically, they do mention that while they do tune raid encounters and that sort of thing with the existence of Divinity in mind, they would also like Divinity not to be the only form of weakening on the field, because there's still Tractor Cannon and there's still a Tether, as they mentioned here. So we don't want to power creep past Divinity to make them interesting. Basically, they're just going to rein it in. They've been looking at Divinity for a while now, and it tested a variety of changes in Season 19 over the last few months, landing on reducing Divinity's weakness from 30% to 15%. The bubble is not changing. It's not getting any change in how it performs, only the weakening effect that it provides. So, there's that. Divinity is officially getting nerfed, and Twitter has already taken to assaulting Salt Greppo. Even though he was one of the people that said the wrong thing, he wasn't the inert cause, because Cosmo has already tweeted out in a tweet basically saying that no one is to blame for this, that they have been looking at this for a while. So, comments on kinetic weapons in PvE. Looking at a kinetic damage type slot. They are looking at kinetic damage type as opposed to slot changes post Lightfall to make this more interesting aspect of how weapons feel. Now, adept raid weapon viability. They're basically working on reworks. Now, they're going to give them, as basically, post Lightfall, they're going to give them access, or during Nightfall, to new Lightfall raid adept weapons, access to enhanced perks. Note they're not going to be full freedom or free for crafting. It's a little complex, so please look for more information to come out closer to Lightfall's release. And of course, they do cover a lot of things like extra exotic champion weaknesses. They basically say we're getting another one next season, and we'll tune along the line if needed. King's Fall weapons, getting unorthodox raid pools, and basically raid origin traits, all that sort of thing, so raid weaponry. Whether or not Outbreak Perfected has persistence on it, then Cold Denial with an awkward masterwork. Stability perks like Rapid Hit affecting the perfect draw time on bows. I'm just reading all these in case it's a topic that you need to know. But then, basically, a little heads up that subclass 3.0 verbs open a huge area of design for weapons, including incandescent, headstone, choke clip, and we should expect more of them. Then, why does a subset of weapons work into subclass 3.0? Basically, they don't plan for it right off the bat, but they also plan on doing more of them. They clarify what the extra perks in columns on reset. Now, pretty much they give us that, whatever that is. But basically, you'll earn an extra perk on the left side columns for all your playlist activities on the first and third resets, and the right columns, you'll get the extra perk on the second and fourth to reach a possible 3 extra perks on any of the things, to clarify that. And then, as well, perk drop rates. Weapon perks are weighted equally under all circumstances. There is 0 case in the game where one perk is more likely to roll than another. And then, of course, we're currently going to be getting a lot of reworks in next season. Apparently, before it was an update of 20 different weapons. Now it's up to about 26 weapons that are going to be reworked in Season 19. And then, of course, they mentioned something about reprising old weapons from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. And they made a mention, basically, that in the case of every raid, it will get their weapon back. But in case we bring back a raid, like, say, Wrath of the Machine, and its exotic already exists, basically, they're going to make new weapons to match said raid. And they also mentioned that in terms of reprising said weapons, they picked the 6 most popular ones, and then go from there in terms of their stuff. And there's more details there that I'm skipping across, but I'm trying to keep this shorter. So then there's a lot of details. Basically, how does Adagio function on weapons? What does Zen Moment actually do? In your opinion, is accuracy worth it on slugs? What are the numbers on enhanced perks? Like, what do they actually do? Examples of enhanced versions. The enhanced Verticality grants an additional +5 stability and +5 handling compared to the base perk. Enhanced opening shot grants additional range and aim assist compared to base. And all that. Generally curious on why the Crucible One Quiet Moment origin trait was created, just because of why you use something out of combat. Minimum draw ties on bows, odds and ends, and that sort of thing. So, apparently this is just having some fun with the Australians. When is the Nutbush emote coming to the game? Weird things. I think that's all Australian stuff. And then, of course, they asked the devs favorite stuff, replicas, perk combinations, and sort of things. And they want to know what things make god rolls, you know, that sort of thing. But they also talk about that. That's probably for the newer folks. Rangefinder drastically changing the effective engagement distances on weapons and blah. They'll be removing the added aim assist fall off for Rangefinder, and the perk is ridiculously strong just with the zoom bonus. It doesn't need to increase any of that. Somebody fixing the Fate of All Fools perk on Jade Rabbit. Yes, issues. How do you feel about Season 17 and 18 changes now they have been in the thing? Basically, they haven't really retracted any of them. They do think high-impact scout rifles may have gotten overbuffed a bit, and auto rifles are a little bit behind. 180 RPM scout rifles and hand cannons come up in usage and effectiveness, which is great. And then future changes to be looking forward to. So, sizable stability buff for auto rifles and traces to look forward to. Small buff to crit hit damage on adaptive frame pulse and precision frame pulse rifles. Slightly reduced effective range of pulse rifles at low to mid stat volumes. Nerfs to Jade Rabbit and no time displaying and ease of use. Continuation of the Lord of Wolves rework. Small rocket launcher blast radius buff. Glaive damage resistance nerf. Sidearm aim assist fall off buff. Sniper flinch rework. Very small tweaks to some machine guns that are outperforming their intended ranges. Small decrease to high-impact scout rifle damage. Some outliers that have zoom levels outside of normal parameters are being brought back in line. Risk Runner PvP arc damage resistance reductions, which will still remain ridiculous in PvE. In Season 19, we have additional list of changes we will be making, including removing some shotgun randomness, improve hit detection on glaives, reworking changing nearly 20 weapon perks, and reworking changing over 20 exotic weapons. Then, they also talk about other things. Do trace rifles have accuracy bloom as you hold in the trigger? No. Is under pressure going to be nerfed on fusion rifles? How are you going to finally rein in Xur's main ingredient without diminishing precision frames as a whole? We're not going to nerf under pressure on fusion rifles. Main thing we'll do if main ingredient usage doesn't come down with the naturally lower its stats, then we'll allow it to avoid hitting all and get, you know. That being said, precision frame fusion rifles as a subfamily outside of main ingredient are strong, looking at them too. Is there any plans to add more subclass verbs to more exotics? Which I'm not sure what that means. I think that, let's see, lots of plans, nothing concrete to share now, but we've always been on the lookout for places we can add subclass verbs. We have to be cautious as some of the intrinsic functionality of the verbs may actually be worse than what it is on the exotic weapon or the uptime of the verb on the exotic. I think that means in perks that work with subclass stuff, like incandescent, chill clip, that sort of thing. Will skill-based matchmaking present and control have any effect on the way we handle weapon balancing? Bleh, Crucible stuff. What are your plans for a sniper rifle and a special linear fusion rifle flinch? For sniper flinch, dramatically increases the time it takes for the reticle to reset back to center after taking damage, which in playtests have seen a marked decrease in the amount of times players are able to shoot through flinch. We also greatly decrease PvE flinch to counter this. Now, this will prevent players from trading with sniper rifles on their first shot, nor will it hurt players using sniper rifles who disengage and allow the reticle to reset before peeking again. But it should be hopefully address the instances of hitting somebody with a sniper rifle with multiple crits only to get sniped through it. If this change plays out successfully in the game and outside of testing, we will try to migrate it over to special linear fusion rifles. Any fusion rifle changes coming, like a rapid fire buff, we want to see how shotgun changes happen before that. Any changes to Headseeker? Plan is increase its duration with perk active and stuff like that, so plans to buff it. Aggressive frames and high caliber rounds baked in? No, but its flinch is based on damage per bullet. Dynamic sway reduction seems misunderstood. Can get explained. Basically, dynamic sway reduction starts as soon as you start firing. Each subsequent shot improves its effects, increasing accuracy and stability until it maxes out around 20 shots. So high RPM weapons get maximum benefits more quickly than low RPMs. The perk deactivates as soon as you stop firing. What does box breathing do? Is there a way to estimate how much zoom decrease the effective cone angles and other things like that? So there's a lot of questions. If there was anything in there that you might have spotted, I'd recommend you go read it yourself. Then, TwitchCon. Basically, that's kind of going on. Heading to San Diego for TwitchCon 2022 from October 7th to 9th, located right on the purple cartridge. Stop by and say hello. Visitors will have a chance to take home an exclusive TwitchCon pin, as well as a brand new Destiny emblem. One thing to note, though, these emblems are first come, first serve, so stop by as soon as you can if you want this emblem for going to TwitchCon. Then, of course, the prize wheel famous by Cosmo during last year's Give to Give stream will be making the trip to South California as well. So, complete with a fresh paint job, and the Bungie prize wheel will give lucky players the opportunity to win some great prizes. So tune in Saturday, October 8th from 12:30 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. Pacific for a special fundraiser event. The Lost Drake and Pika Peach are streaming live from the TwitchCon floor. Head over there to their channels to watch and support. Then, of course, the support updates. Now, the future Destiny 2 on Stadia is, of course, in question with Stadia shutting down. They are working on things, but if you would like to ask general questions, please review their facts. And now, not all hope is lost. I'm sure they'll allow you to migrate stuff, but nothing is certain yet. Now, to alleviate some performance issues in the tower, they are reducing the cap of players from 20 or down to 20 players while they investigate an underlying cause for performance issues. Now, new deep side focusing. The first time players focus a season of plunder weapon each week with the double perk weapon spoils pirate crew upgrade. The focus weapon will now also drop deep side resonance. Now, Gerfalcon update. A fix for the Gerfalcon's Halberic Hunter exotic has been identified and is scheduled to launch out mid-October, so we should be able to use that soon. And then, known issues. When focusing, the Heritage Sea auto rifle in Drifter's inventory is incorrectly listed as 600 RPM weapon instead of a 360. Tower loading times have increased for all players. Players who are losing the Brand Claimer buff even when the Tinier is still active during the War Priest Challenge in the King's Fall raid. Interactions with the Callus statue beckons too quickly in the Duality Dungeons and can soft lock players from progressing forward in the activity. Players unable to upgrade the Witch Queen Delecta's edition on the Epic Games Store. This issue should be resolved by the end of the week. Risen can become invincible in the Last Wish raid with players unable to damage her in certain situations. And per the usual, if you wish to apply any or view the known issues article and any issues themselves, report them to the help forums. And that's pretty much it, because we have then meme stuff, some awesome looking SFM animations for the Titan Pirates. And then, of course, a cute little chibi Catch Crash stuff. And then we have Saint the Demon, which is some great art there. And then some nice little trick-or-treating stuff for Festival Lost with our new allies in the tower. And then, of course, I think, is that Spooky Ido, or is that a Guardian going through the Moth Yards? Although I think the Moth Yards is one of the creepiest places, air quotes. But that's pretty much it. They do, of course, mention that Festival Lost is inching closer. Per the usual, it's almost time once more, and we'll have more on that in a later TWAB. But for now, you know, that's it. So they didn't mention anything more about Eager Edge from Bungie in the TWAB. I honestly expected that, considering the shitstorm that they seem to have gathered and the shitstorm I created and commenting on it. But honestly, you know, it's opinions. It's the internet. Everyone has opinions. Someone hates them somewhere. And if you hate them, then you will make sure everyone knows about it. But aside from that, my name is Matt Scorpion. This has been the TWAB Update, and I'll see you in the next video.